All right, so here we're working with histograms. We're taking a look at them. When we work with histograms, our prerequisite skills are working with tally charts and having an understanding of number lines, that a number line is increasing as you go from left to right at a constant rate. Now, we'll work forward here. This is a suitable video if you are in a grade 11 3C class or if you're reviewing your understanding of histograms. Our histograms, what they offer us is an ability to sort and then display our data. So we'll practice our sorting, we'll practice our displaying as we go through here. We have here a collection of grades. So student marks from Mr. Pasaka's math class are collected. There are 24 students in the class, so we have 24 grades right here. It is our goal to create a tally chart and a histogram using a bin width of 10 marks. What that means is we're going to sort these grades into different categories. We'll call them bins. And our initial mark range is from 0 to 9. Now you might say, well, hang on, Mr. P, you said we were going up to 10 marks. We are, because if we count, there are 10 different marks that will go into this bin. That is marks of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 10 different numbers because 0 is a number. So if our first bin is from 0 to 9, our next bin, keeping this consistent with 10 marks, will have to be from 10 until 19. Our next bin will be from 20 to 29. I'll have you pause the video here and flesh out the rest of your bins. Good. Now, right here, we'll need to be a little bit careful with how we interpret these, because really what we're doing, our first bin is all of them marks between 0 and 10, not including 10, but between 0 and 10. Our next bin includes the number 10, but does not include the number 20. It is greater than or equal to 10 and less than 20. So if we're looking to sort a grade into here, if we sort the grade 10%, that goes into this bin, not the first one. If we're sorting the grade 70%, that goes into this bin down here. Now, we'll be careful as we do so, and we'll see how we build up our histogram. So, if we take a look at these mark ranges, the lower end is from 0% to 10% to 20%, and we could actually, I might show a little bit better if I just highlight these first columns, from 0 to 10 to 20, to 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and if we had another down here, it would be at 100%. We're going to take these lower bounds and we're going to put them on our horizontal number line down here. So 0%, 10%, 20%, 30%, where we're noticing that we're filling in right here every single tick that our horizontal number line has just gets one number, not two. Right, 60, 70, 80, I'm going to need to move my screen over just a tad right here, 90 and 100. Now the idea here is that each of these ticks separates a bin, right? So it's like what we're going to do is we're going to be sorting our data into each of these collective bins so that our histogram will be able to show us how many of each grade is attained by different students in the class. Let's take a look at this first number. This first number, 61. Well, 61 falls into this bin in between 60 and 69, so we'll put a tally mark down here. And if I'm to build this histogram, and this is not how we're going to build histograms when it comes down to it, but just so you can see how they're being made, if we start building our histogram right here, our frequency of 1, we would say, okay, well, there is one mark between 60 and 70% right now. Now, that's our first mark. Our next one is 86. So that 86 would go in this bin down here, nice and easy. And that would turn into, right here, whoops, what's going on? There we are. That turns into a bit of a block right there. Let's see if I can zoom out a bit so I can see my whole histogram. There we go. 44. I'll keep doing a few of these until I start to see 44 goes right here. Until I start to see second one lining up in the same bin. There's my next one here between 90 and 100. Good. Between 70 and 79 right here. And then here I go, 76. Okay, so this here, we'll see our second tally in the same bin for the first time here. We're up to our frequency of 2. Another block gets added. And this shows that we have two different grades here have been in between 70 and 80%. Now the idea here is that we have, okay, right now we've sorted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different grades. Every single grade will be sorted in here, and we're going to end up with some kind of a shape right here. We'll see how it looks in a moment. But what we'll habitually do when we're building our histograms is we're actually going to sort all of these numbers first into our tally chart, count up our frequencies, and then build our histogram. So you'll see that right here. What I want you to do, pause the video, take every single one of these data points and sort them into your tally chart. Circle them when you're sorting. Okay, so this is 58, goes right here. Cross it off when you've sorted it already. All right, pause the video here because in 3 seconds you're going to see a fully sorted tally chart. Fantastic. So now we've taken all of our data points, we've sorted them into the tally chart. Now, this is all well and great. This tally chart is not overly complicated to interpret, but we're going to practice building our frequency table anyways. How many marks, according to this tally chart, how many marks are in between 0 and 9? Oh, none of them, because I don't see any tallies in here. Fantastic. Same with from 10 to 19. Now, from 20 to 29, we do have 1 grade there. From 30 to 39, we have none. 40 to 49, we have 1. We can fill in here all of our frequency table by counting up our tallies that we have. Tally marks are obviously designed for a quick reading. So now we're taking these frequencies, and this is what we're going to add. So instead of adding our data points one at a time into our histogram, which would take a long time, it would be pretty tedious, we're taking advantage of this tally chart to build our histogram a little bit cleaner. So we see here that from 0 to 9, there's a frequency of 0. Easy. From 10 to 19, a frequency of 0. From 20 to 30, this is where we're looking right here, we see a frequency of 1. So let's put that box into place. From 30 to 39, it's 0. From 40 to 49, it's 1. We already have that in place from our work before. From 50 to 59, we have 3. So now we're looking here. This is our frequency our frequency axis, and we're looking across for a frequency of 3 going from 50 to 60. There we are. That shows 3, and I can put my horizontal lines in here if you really want to see the 3 individuals that add up right here. Fantastic. Nice work, Gus. Keep right on going. What I might ask you to do here, if you feel really confident, pause the video, finish off your histogram. If not, work right along with us. We're finished 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 3. Our next one is 4. So we're going to go up to a frequency of 4, cutting across right here. There we are. We can put in our blocks if you prefer to see it. The blocks, again, it is not required to separate your bars into blocks right here. And then all the way up to 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All the way across. And this is from 70 to 80. So we're going up right here. Up right here. There. And again, we're seeing right here, if you prefer, you're seeing all of your blocks, how it's built up right here. Nice and easy. Then we're going up to 5. And now I'm no longer going to put my horizontal lines in. I really don't need to. And 1. So this is what a completed histogram looks like. I'll get rid of these dotted lines, this dashed line. I don't need these at all. But the point is that we can read this and we can see, okay, according to our histogram right here, we can see, oh, what grade range was most common within the class. Oh, I can see very clearly the grade range from 70 to 80 because that is the tallest tower right here. That was the most common range. And there were 8 students in the class that had a grade from 70 to 80%. That's how we're reading our histogram. Now, how many students had a grade, above 80%? Well, let's take a look in here. And according to our histogram, according to the number line that's horizontal here, above 80%, we're looking to the right of 80. We're collecting all of these, and we see 1 here. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in total, that is 7 students had a grade higher than 80%. Fantastic. Now, what about how many students had a grade above 60% and less than 80? Let's take a look over here. Above 60% and less than 80. If I'm looking here, that is, I'm working in between 60 and 80. That's in these two columns right here because that's what shows up on my number line between 60 and 80. I know there are 8 between 70 and 80. I know there are 4 between 60 and 70. In total, that is 12 students had a grade in between 60% and 80%. Now, what if we practiced, okay, how many data points do I have in each bin? I see 0 data points, 0, 1, 0, 1, 3, 4, 8, 5, and 1. Those are the same numbers that we saw in our frequency chart right here. And here we're just practicing reading our histogram. I'll get rid of those numbers. We don't overly need them anymore. And then let's take another look, again, practicing interpreting this histogram. From the bins, let's say from 40 to 90%. How many students, how many data points are in there? How many students had a grade in between 40 and 90%? I want you to pause the video here, count it out yourself. We should see 1 plus 3 plus 4 plus 8 plus 5, not including this last one because 90% was our upper cutoff. We're working with 1 plus 3, that's 4, that's 8, that's 16, and we're working with 21 students had a grade in between 40% and 90%. Hopefully, at this point, you're feeling relatively comfortable building and reading your histograms. If you are, you should be ready for the practice work. Good luck.